for our viewing audience define this term, ecological identity?
Yeah, so to me, ecological identity is an awareness of how one relates to nature and an awareness of the fact that I am nature, that humans are a part of nature. Like we are not separate from, we are not dominant over, we are not controlling of, we are nature, and like it is an interconnected relationship. In terms of why I think it's an important research project, it was inspired partly because I think outdoor adventures is a largely white space, and I think there's concepts of what outdoor adventures is. I think being a part of outdoor adventures at USD, it's a very intentionally inclusive space, and at the same time there's like barriers around the concept of what outdoor adventures is and who it's for that are created by the industry messaging of what bodies belong in the outdoors and what who is successful, what is success in the outdoors, like can you climb the highest mountain, or like there's a narrative around competition and success and performance that is very restrictive to white bodies, white male cisgender, not only able-bodied but very athletic, rich people, that excludes a whole variety, a whole range of people that from feeling comfortable and like they can access the outdoors because their bodies don't look like that. And I think something that I feel like ecological identity can do is transcend the limit of looking at one particular aspect of identity that excludes somebody from the outdoors. So race is one, that it is a largely white space, and people who aren't white have to overcome, experience barriers in accessing the outdoors because it has been created as a white space. But also sexuality, it's a largely heterosexual space. There's a it's just not a space where queerness is encouraged or celebrated, or images of queerness are celebrated or encouraged. There's very specific gender ideas around what masculinity in the outdoors is, and it is strong, it is technical, it is competitive, it's not gentle, it's not connection, it's more defeating and conquering the outdoors. There's also, yeah, I think there's able-bodiedness is a huge factor around accessing the outdoors. I feel like there's a there's an idea of an image that should be portrayed when you're in the outdoors that needs to be very clean and respectable, and like there's pressure. My sister doesn't access the outdoors because her hair will get messed up, and she spent the morning making it look good, and she'd like to look good outdoors, and so she doesn't go outside because of that, or she'll get sweaty. And I think that there's like so many different factors around people deciding whether or not they're going to go on a day hike, and that are linked to the fact that we are like we all have a variety of identities. We all have also experiences of perhaps shame in the outdoors in terms of like who we have been around in the outdoors and who has encouraged us to be in the outdoors. Body shame in terms of like whether we can trust our body to climb to the top of that mountain, whether we can finish that hike without, you know, feeling uncomfortable if we have an injury. I think there's just such a huge amount of factors that can limit the access to the outdoors, that I think ecological identity recognizes the intersectionality of all humans, that we all have a variety of identities, and each of these identities can create barriers to access in the outdoors. However, we are all humans and we are all nature. And if we can recognize the fact that we can connect with the outdoors in ways that aren't what the outdoors industry have told us is connection to the outdoors, including gardening, planting a seed and paying attention to its growth, and having an awareness of how much sunlight it gets, having an awareness of how much sunlight we get and how much we can grow if we're not drinking enough water every day, eating plants, like how are we paying attention to ourselves and ourselves as nature and taking care of that. And then I think it's just like also having an awareness of how you feel when you are in the outdoors, in that there is like, I think there's many studies proving that mental health, physical health, emotional health, all are increased when you spend time connecting with nature. And that if we can think about ecological identity instead of as part of outdoor adventures, as connection to nature as not necessarily being something that is fast, strong, tough, intense, dirty, you know, uncomfortable, that we can connect to nature as we walk to work, as we walk to the car to drive to work. If we can smell the flowers of the plants on the way and like hear the bird and just remember that we are in nature a lot of the time. It's not just this far away exotic place with the tallest mountains ever. It is everywhere. And how do we pay attention to that? And yeah, bring more of that into our daily lives.